I'm having my morning cup of coffee. I've decided to drink coffee this morning. My Copico Blanca, my 3-in-1 coffee, cream and sugar, Copico Blanca. I decided to go coffee this morning instead of green tea. I've been drinking a lot of green tea because I wasn't able to walk this morning. There was a downpour here earlier, so I could, I guess I could have, if I really wanted to, I could have brought an umbrella, but I decided I'll just wait till later, probably when Dazzle goes on her sunset walk. I'll go walk with Dazzle later. Joke, and I decided to start the live stream because I saw people were waiting. There was like 6 people already waiting because now I'm scheduling the live stream. I think that's going to work out better for people. I know people like to be on schedule, things like that. Today is a holiday here in the Philippines. Today is Independence Day, Philippine Independence Day, June the 12th. So Liana does not have school today. Good morning. All right. I don't want to miss. I don't want to miss. Oh man, I missed comments on the top there. My bad. My bad. I had to let me look that up. I skipped some comments, and I do not want to do that. Monthly Mint says, I tried the website tip you gave me. Nothing comes up for Calibo Aklan for house rentals that are decent. Any other options? All right. I think Monthly Mint, he had contacted me. He was asking me for house rentals here in Calibo or here in Numancia. The thing here in Aklan province, even in Calibo, that's like the most populated area here in Aklan province, about 100,000 people live in Calibo area. It is hard to find a house rental. There's a lot of apartments, no condominiums in Calibo, but it's difficult to find house rentals because a lot of people live in their houses. A lot of people, I just don't see many of them. That's why when a house rental comes up, you just gotta jump on it really fast. Like here in our community, Camilla Aklan, I showed a video. There's a 3-bedroom, 3-bathroom, fully furnished. Around 20,000, about 20,000 pesos for that rental. There's a couple that will come up here at Camilla Aklan, but again, it gets taken fast. So if you're looking for a house, just not a lot of availability as far as houses. Now, apartments, I'm seeing more and more newer apartments actually even being built, even in Numancia. There's one going to Liana's school, about 8 units, but they're kind of like in the range where Filipinos can afford it. They're in that 8,000 to 10,000 peso range. That's about $160 a month. Because a lot of times that's why I push people to La Casa Española, because that one to me is the closest I can get you apartment-wise, comparable to apartments in the United States. A lot of apartments here, like in Calibo, they might have 8, 10 units, 2-bedroom, 1-bath, and right around 10,000 pesos. At La Casa, there's 32 units, and they're adding another 10 units really soon. The elevator, I saw elevator even coming up, really nice complex. But you're looking at, if you want a rental there, starts at 20,000 for pesos. 20,000 pesos, about $325, I think, for a 1-bedroom fully furnished apartment. And the website that Monthly Mint was talking about, I've recommended Michael from That Philippines Life, that tplrentals.com. You can check out there. People post there. It gets updated. But like I said, if you're looking for a house is kind of difficult. You might have, you would have more luck as far as houses, like in Iloilo City, just because bigger city, more population, more housing available there. Derek, good morning from, did my morning, all right, 2 miles from Derek, 2 miles. All right, Derek. Yeah, I didn't get to walk, man, because I was getting ready to walk actually, and there was just a downpour. It stopped raining now, but it's still sprinkling. It's still wet outside. Did you drop off, Liana? No school today. School today. Like I said, Independence Day. Independence Day here in the Philippines. National holiday here in the Philippines. Monthly. Did you look in Facebook Marketplace? They tend to list. That's another place. That's another place. Facebook Marketplace. That's where I've found apartments for other people too. Facebook Marketplace. Lowell, kamusta from Oregon? God bless my brother. I'm not gonna go through the news items. I did want to say, the earthquake that happened in Mindanao, one of the strongest earthquakes. I was looking at the history. It's in the top 5 of strongest earthquakes here in the Philippines ever. It's like the biggest earthquake here, 8.1. The one in Luzon, 1990, I experienced that. I was at Clark Air Force Base, so I know what the 7.8. We were pretty good, close distance to the Baguio earthquake in 1990, 7.8, and the one in Mindanao that just hit 7.8. Unfortunately, there's many casualties. They're still finding casualties up to now. Rubble, a lot of destruction, my thoughts and prayers definitely for the people of Mindanao. It's like in the Philippines, out of Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao, that is already some of the poorest areas here in the Philippines. That's why a lot of people in the Mindanao area, there's always a group there that wants to separate from the Philippines because they feel like the government's not taking care of them. Usually a lot of the money in the Philippines goes to Luzon, then Visayas, and unfortunately Mindanao seems to get the low end of it for support from the government. And unfortunately, that area in Mindanao, if you look at the history of earthquakes in the Philippines, like the top 10 earthquakes in the Philippines, a lot of it has hit Mindanao. A lot of those very strong earthquakes here. Lanao earthquake in 1955. There's Moro earthquake, another earthquake 1970. There's just a lot that hit that area, and now being one of the strongest ones, 7.8 again, and a lot of destruction. I'm sure people have looked online already. A lot of schools got demolished in the earthquake, and then of course even the buildings that didn't go down during the earthquake, a lot of structures in that area, roads, even bridges, it's not going to be, will not be able to use it because it'll be, they'll have to do engineering, check it, make sure it's still, you want to go in the building. So a lot of damage in Mindanao. Over 400,000 people affected by and it happened during my live stream. I was on the live stream and somebody had mentioned there's an earthquake in Mindanao, and I was like, oh wow. Then I checked it afterwards, and sure enough, man, one of the strongest earthquakes in history of the Philippines, in the top 5 as far as earthquakes. Good morning, Lowell. Good morning, Brother Gino, Jokanu, Albert. Good morning, Alberto Sanchez. I think you're the one from Davao, right, Alberto? So that, he can tell us about that earthquake. Derek, good morning, Jokanu. Hey, Castaway. All right, Michael. I know Michael, my brother from the Duke of Duma. He made it to the United States. I'm glad you're on the live stream. Thank you, my brother. I know prayers go out to you too, man. I was thinking about you. I'm glad you're sharing your flight. You land in Korea, then Atlanta, I think, and then when you landed your final destination in the United States. Thank you for posting that, man, because We want to keep track of you, man. We want to, we want you back. We want you back here, but I know you got to take care of business in the United States. Aloha, Derek. I hope in Leyte. All right. Happy Independence Day from Cavite City. All right. Hello, Joe. Hurting, but hang in there, Lowell. Hang in there. Oh, man, it went fast, man. Yeah, this maybe I'll try it here on my. Let me see here. I'll try to read it. It's harder sometimes on my phone because all of a sudden it'll jump. And I don't want to miss anybody's comments. Your comments are very important to me. Yes, I'm in Davao. I remember Alberto. I remember you're in Davao. And my landlord is building a second house to rent next door. Nice quality. And that's the thing. I always get questions. And that's why my topic today was going to be the current cost of living. That's why my topic. I'm just going to run through this and then the comments here, and I'm going to start on right away on because I know people they want me to get to my topic. I know that people want, they tell me all the time that you got to get to your topic fast, man. I seen one blogger move to Leyte. Yes, many. Leyte, Samar, that's like some of the lower cost of living here in the Philippines, for sure. Brother G is in the house. All right. My brother C is in the house. Thank you so much, my brother. I'm praying for your mom, for sure. We are all praying, for sure, for Michael S. Bro, real men walk. Oh, not even on the downpour. Yeah, I could have carried the umbrella. I was debating whether to do my walk, but I figured, well, at least now Dazzle will have me tagging along on her sunset walk later. How long was the trip to Pennsylvania? There's Daniel, hello, Daniel. The Posse Bros from Central Cebu. All right, Joe Canoe. Daniel, hope all is going well. Everything's going well with Daniel. Everything's going well. He's getting things done, slowly, but he's getting things done. Made it. Aside 12-hour time difference, I will be doing in a month when I return to Dumaguete. All right. Was kind of ironic. The earthquake hit the morning of the day I flew. I was putting my sneakers on and the couch started to shake. Whoa, it started to shake. So I felt it in Dumaguete. I've heard that some people felt it in Dumaguete, and then some people did did not feel it. How's it going, bro? Hey, Emilio, I was just texting you, man. You read your current text, man. I replied back to you, Emilio. There he is, the man, the myth, the legend. The Wyoming cowboy vanilla farmer in Leyte. Salute, my brother. Big question for you, bro. What is your most important purpose for living that keeps you going? Brother C, me, my primary purpose for sure is my family. It's like, it makes me happy each day, just seeing Dazzle smile, Leanna smile, a mom, our interaction each day. That is a blessing for me in my life. It's like, I know out of all the things I've done, I've been in the military, I've traveled the world, but just the simple family that I have now, I'm so grateful for it. I'm so thankful that, I think as we get older, that family, the people that's gonna love you and take care of you, that means the most to me. Joe Cano, morning beauty. Hey Joe, okay, life. If you can afford to live in America, that is still the best choice. Instead, 100%, you are correct with that, my friend. And I always tell that to people. If you can afford retirement in America, that is the best place for you, because everything is like convenient, everything's efficient, you can do everything online, you can have stuff delivered to you, you can get everything you want, like so easy. Here in the Philippines, everything is a struggle a lot of times. Everything that you do here, everything takes time. The bureaucracy here, the slow, everybody's got the mañana time here. It's like the island time. Nobody's in a hurry here in the Philippines. A lot of times, everything starts late here, or you want to meet people, they're always late. Nothing starts on time here. So, 100% agree with you. If you can afford retirement in America, that is the better place. Smash the like. Morning show. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Belus. Appreciate you. Morning, Belus. All right. Good morning, bro. Hey, Michael C. in the Philippines. Now in Tagaytay. He lives in Tagaytay, man. Awesome condominium. Michael C. lives in Tagaytay with a view. Man, amazing view, man. He's up there in the mountains. Cooler weather. It's like not all places in the Philippines is hot. So Michael C. He'll tell you. He lives in Tagaytay now. Very happy to hear. Join the live stream. All right. Thank you, Michael S. My home. I miss it already. All right, hey, man. I know you just got to take care of business there, but I know you'll be back here. It's like we'll be watching your walks in Dumaguete City again here before you know it. All right, thank you so much. Thank you so much, brother, for joining the live stream. All right, let me get started on the topic, the current cost of living in the Philippines. And I'm going to start with housing. That seems to be the question a lot of times, right? The housing. How much is the housing cost here in Calibo, in Iloilo City, in Panay Island? And I always tell people this, I get the question all the time. How much is housing? How much will it cost you to a house? That all depends on the person. It's the same dynamic in the United States or here. You're going to have, when you go to a place here in the Philippines, it don't matter where you go in the Philippines, even Cebu City, Manila, anywhere you go, there's going to be different levels of apartments or housing or condos. I can't just give you a figure and say, it'll cost you 20,000 pesos. And if I say that, people are going to jump on me. I only pay 10 for mine. I only pay 7 for mine. It's different from everybody that moves here because we all have different tastes. We have, there's people that will say, I can live in that, 7,000 peso apartment, 8,000 peso apartment. And some people will say, oh man, I don't want to live there. That's like you're living in a ghetto. It's like, some people prefer high end. And that's what I'm saying. Like even here in Calibo, I've always pushed people to La Casa Española Apartel because again, that is the only apartment I've seen here in Calibo where I'm proud to recommend. There are other apartments here, complexes, bigger complex like La Casa Española, but I'm not gonna recommend it because I don't think it might not be safe. It's when I walk in the apartment complex, the area is dark. Sometimes it's not the cleanest, so I know how Americans think. I know how foreigners think. I know the standard of living. I lived in the United States for over 30 years. So I know the things that you're looking for. That's why JP lives in La Casa Española. Mel lives in La Casa Española. My friend Nefty lived there. Edgar lived there before he bought his beach house. So I always recommend La Casa Española because I've done videos on it. You'll see, even Rock and Jazz, they were just staying there. You can see it's well maintained. There's grass even in the yard. Always clean, spotless. They got people cleaning the walkways. No trash. They got CCTV. There's a manager's office where they're monitoring the area. It's quiet. No roosters. No roosters. Not allowed to have roosters there. So that's why I always recommend. Now, it costs 20,000 starting. The minimum apartment there monthly starts at 20,000 pesos. So let me just do the math real quick here because sometimes I don't want to give you the wrong figure. 20,000 pesos, let's say at 61 pesos. So that's about $327 for a fully furnished. Now, Some people have say, well, it's not really fully furnished because they only have one set of sheets, or they only got 2 towels, or the kitchen is not really fully stocked. Well, here in the Philippines, when they say fully furnished, you'll be happy if they say fully furnished if it's got a refrigerator, if it's got an oven, like a stove to cook on, and AC. I mean, anything after that, if you're expecting, I don't know what some people are expecting with fully furnished. They'll try to have kitchen stuff, like maybe a skillet, maybe a saucepan, plates, glasses. They'll have that. But some people just expect, like, when they move in there, I'm not buying. Where's all the stuff that they told me it's furnished? You'll still have to buy. Of course, you're still gonna buy things that you might like, cleaning supplies. Maybe toilet paper. You're gonna buy your own toilet paper, but that's just how it is here. But again, 20,000 pesos or $327 for the high end. That's already the high end. That's the best apartment here in Calibo. And then, of course, you go from there, like I said. Then if you, like me, if I was moving to Calibo, like I did in 2012 to 2016, that's where I live. I had a 2-bedroom, 1-bath, unfurnished apartment, and I paid $7,000. That same apartment right now rents for $8,000 because I can live like real minimalist. When I moved in there, I don't need much. It's like, give me a bed to start off. I don't need all the furnishings when I first moved there. I slowly, I bought, of course, AC was important for me, so I bought a little window type AC, cost me about 7,000 pesos, a little over $100. I bought me a refrigerator, a dorm type refrigerator for like 5,000 pesos, less than $100. And then I had a bed. And I'm good with that, because I didn't want to accumulate things, but I wanted that cheaper rent in the beginning. And that's the same thing pretty much anywhere you go in the Philippines. It's like for Calibo, it's going to be like that. Some people will tell me, oh, it's so expensive at La Casa Española, 20,000 pesos, $325 a month. Ooh, that's too much. And for Filipinos here in Calibo, that is a lot for them. I know a lot of Filipinos will say 20,000 for apartment in Calibo. I know a place that's like 10,000. And you're gonna find lots of other apartments in Calibo, but would I put you in that apartment? It's like, I know how American thinks. I know how, I know even before JP came here, I understood what he was looking for. And I'm not gonna put him in like a bad section of town, right? Because any place in the world, it doesn't matter where you live, right? There's always a bad section of town. There's always going to be, unfortunately, I don't want to say the wrong thing, but there's areas, any area you go, even in the United States. When I lived in Los Angeles, when I lived in Tucson, Arizona, there's always going to be a place where, the lesser income, in the US, Section 8 housing, of course your rent's going to be cheaper there, but would you want to live there? And the same thing in Calibo. There's areas in Calibo like Oyotorong, La Serna, there's cheap rent there, but I'm not going to put you in a place where I don't think it's, it might not be safe at nighttime. It's like where JP lives now, where Mel lives now, they can walk freely, it's safe. They're like walking distance to a 7-Eleven, to Grand Gaisano Mall. So that's my priority when I'm putting people here in an apartment. All right, let me. There's a lot of messages here, so I don't want to get too behind on the messages. Joe Cano, I could make it work to live in the U.S., but then I would just be surviving and deal with woke crazies instead of sense of community in the Philippines. And that's a big thing, right? Right, Joe? I mentioned that in the video. I just, that seems to be the thing that I'm seeing more and more in America. Americans are divided. One comment will trigger an avalanche. If you make a post on your Facebook in America about your if you're a Democrat, you're a Republican, you make a simple post, people will jump on you, you know, there, and that's kind of like, you know, everything kind of walking on eggshells. We're here in the Philippines. You've seen the expats that come here, Joe. You know, they're just going fishing. You know, Sunday we're all going to the Canadian Beaver. We're just gonna hang out. We're just gonna enjoy each other's company, talk about our stories. Hey, what have you been doing? Where have you been? I know Michael and them. They just came back from Palawan. James and Karen. I see James and Karen here. You know, they just went to Marorison Island in Antique. That's the kind of stories that we hear from each other. You know, hey, was that fun? You know, did you have fun? You know, in the U.S. now, even back in 2011, before I left the U.S., you know, I lived in Tucson for 7 years. I had neighbors where, you know, I'm pulling out of my car, or I'm walking, and all you do with your neighbors there is like, you know, hey, what's up? Or, oh, what's up? You know, and that's it. You know, you don't really know them by name a lot of times. You don't hang out with them. Whereas here, people are still neighborly here. People, we attend parties together. Like I said, we had a Halloween party, we had a Christmas party. You know, to me, that sense of community, very important, I think. Beautiful sunset in the thumbnail. Well, yes, that was Boracay. I always like taking sunset in Boracay, pictures of sunset in Boracay. Count has finally decided to count. Michael said, hi, Emilio, you should get referrals from Casa. I don't need it. I don't need referrals, man. I'm happy to help. I'm happy to put people in a good spot. That's all, you know. Are you going? Yes, going to the Beaver. Going to the Beaver on Sunday. Supposedly JP's going. I know Edgar's going. I'm going. James and Karen, Colonel. So we should have a lot of fun. We should have a lot of fun this weekend. There he is, James and Karen's Adventure. Good morning, James. Good morning, James. See you on Sunday, brother. See you on Sunday. I rented his first house, even counters. I think it's great and love the neighborhood. I rented his house. He built. Oh, okay, not furnished. Yeah, and that another thing I was going to mention. That is more common actually here in the Philippines. Houses, apartments that are not furnished. Harder to find furnished here. Just so people know. Now in Iloilo, I was going to mention housing in Iloilo too, like. The high end, as far as like a lot of people that move to Iloilo, they end up in condominiums. You got Avida Towers, you got One Madison, the Palladium. A one bedroom in Calibo, it still ranges from about 25,000 pesos, a little over 400, but furnished, one bedroom condominium. And a lot of people choose it because it's a soft landing to the Philippines, I think. Because, you know, if you've never been to the Philippines, my friend Frederick was in that situation. He's never been to the Philippines. His first trip, that's why I recommended Iloilo City to him. He stayed at the Palladium for 1 year, and everything was convenient. You know, because, you know, from your condominium, your walking distance is 7-Eleven. You got McDonald's. You got the mall. You know, so you're not so remote, and then you got access to SNR, you know, like the Filipino Costco. Everything's right there. You can adjust slowly to life in the Philippines. That's, I always mention that, you know, something to consider. And then again, even in Iloilo City, 25,000 is the range for condos in the Mandurrio area. But there's areas that have condominiums that are cheaper. The older condominiums, like let's say in Pavia or Molo area, there's you can get condominiums there for like 15,000 or even lower. I've even heard people. Again, it just depends on what you're looking for. If you're really on a tight budget, you know, if you're on that, you know, tight, you know, 1,500 to 1,700 budget in Social Security, that's your only pension, you know, that's what, you know, that's mostly those are the people that come to me for help because, you know, I help them with their budget. I try to get them to a decent location with nicer amenities, you know, at least, yeah, that they can afford. That way, they can still save their part of their pension here or build money for their medical emergency fund. Because I always push that. Very important to have a medical emergency fund here. You don't want to live like paycheck to paycheck and not have that emergency fund. Like, let's say you really want to, you don't trust the medical system here in the Philippines, and you want to fly to Guam or you want to fly to the United States. You have to have the money. You have to have the money for that plane ticket. You know, you have to have the money to, like, when you land there, the expenses that you're gonna spend when you decide that. You know, everybody's different. Some people like me, I consider the medical care here sufficient for me. I was medical field for 27 years. I have no problem getting my medical care here, but we're all different. I understand that. I'm gonna tell you where to get your medical care. All right, and then one mention too, like I said, tplrentals.com. Michael from That Philippines Life. That's the website that he created. He's got apartments. He's got housing there from all over the Philippines. A good start to, like, if you're looking for an apartment or a house. And then, like Joe was saying, Facebook Marketplace. Just be careful for Facebook Marketplace, because there are scams in there. A lot of times it will frustrate you because they don't put the price. They'll advertise a house or an apartment, then there's no price. Because they want you to contact them, and then they'll be messaging with you. To me, to me, I'm not used to that either. I'm used to, like, in America, where if you posted something on Craigslist, the price is important. That way, I'm not wasting my time. If the price is over my price, I'm not gonna like contact the person. But here, they want that contact, and then, once you contact them, they might not start leaving you alone. You might get text messages from me if you're still interested and all that. Morning, James. Nice Kulasi video. Yeah, man, that place is awesome, man. Not far from here. Like from my house, I can get to Kulasi in 2 hours. That sandbar that you saw on James and Karen video, man, spectacular sandbar. I swam in that sandbar before. Amazing. The water's so warm. Hardly anybody there. It's like when I took my friend there from Hawaii, he just loved that sandbar there. Island was nice and peaceful. Very, very peaceful. That island's very peaceful indeed. 1 month rent plus 2 month deposit. All right, and I was gonna mention that. Thank you for saying that, Alberto Sanchez. The reason I always push La Casa Española, if you can believe this, no security deposit needed. No 2 month, 1 month, nothing. You move in and you pay your rent for 30 days. It's a month-to-month situation. No contracts to sign. I love that. Hard to find that in Calibo. When I ask for other places, for other people, they're always wanting that 1 month security deposit. Sometimes 2 months. Sometimes they want you to sign 6 month or 1 year contract. So, that's the kind of situation I want to put you guys in, where you're on a month-to-month. Basically, when JP arrived last December, he put his 20,000 pesos and he's good for 1 month. If he wants to continue after that 1 month, put another 20,000 pesos. And he's been staying there now since December. Now we're in June, and he's happy. It's like he's got he did message me. He did lose his housekeeper. He said, Gino, I'm gonna have to clean my apartment now. So JP's looking for a new housekeeper. Good morning, brother Gino, family and friends. Hey, Brian. See you on Sunday, Brian. Can't wait to see you. Catch up with you. Tell me what's going on with you, Brian. The United States is headed for a repeat of the 1860s. As much as I love Missouri, I'd rather raise kids in the Philippines than go through that. I have to agree. From what I'm seeing, James, it's like, if you're raising a kid in the United States, it's not easy. not easy, right? You're seeing, your kids got to be careful about praying. Your kids got to be like, they got gender pronouns now. Confusing for a kid, confusing for a kid. Here in the Philippines, I see normal kids, you seen them on my videos. The kids here, they ride their bikes in the afternoon. They skateboard on my street. They wave at me. It's like, they're normal. They're playing outside. It's like, I remember when I was still, even when in 2011, even now, talking to people in the U.S. What do kids do in America? They're inside their house playing video games day and night. They're not playing outside with other kids because the parents are worried that, hey, my kid might get kidnapped. Here in the Philippines, you don't have to worry about that. The way I grew up in the 70s, where I rode my bike until dark, that light post, when that light post comes on, my mom, you better be home, you better be home when that light post, that light in the street comes on. And that was my signal. Oh, I got to go home. I'm going to get a spanking from my mom if I don't get home. It still happens here. Kids still here. They still do that here. Albert, listen to Gino. He gives, thank you so much, Alberto. Good morning, everyone. Hey, Colonel and sports fans. See you Sunday, Colonel. Can't wait to meet Chriselle on Sunday. Thanks, man. Just shopping around for good house. I know, man. That's the only thing, monthly mint. Not many houses available here in the Calibo area. You might have more luck if it's Iloilo City. I know they have more housing there for houses if you want. Like I said, the only houses that I've seen available here is in my community in Camilla Clan. And not many. People jump on it. The minute it becomes available, people rent it fast. Maybe we can, yeah, for sure. I'm always up for a meetup. If you make it here to our area, definitely. I don't mind doing a meetup. Morning, Colonel Joe Cano, Apam. All right, James. At least they don't tolerate open drug use here. Oh no, they do not tolerate any drug use here. Even like smoking one joint, even getting caught with one single joint of marijuana here in the Philippines, you're gonna go to jail here. They treat marijuana here like a meth. You do not want to be, they always have this thing called buy bust, even in Calibo. They catch people, there's drugs anywhere you go in the world, including the Philippines, but here it's not open. If you get caught here, man, you're going to spend time. Not only will you get spend time in jail here, they'll post your picture on Facebook. Usually, I'll see posts on Facebook, buy bust by the police in Calibo, and you got the guys tucking their head because they don't want to show their face. But people, in the comments, they're like, oh, I know that guy. I went to high school with that guy. It's like they shame you here. They shame you here in the Philippines. And that's allowed, if there's no privacy here. If you get caught with drugs here, they're gonna put your picture. They're gonna put your picture on Facebook here. Tired of the stoners. I have to agree, right, James? It's like they made marijuana in the U.S. like the medical marijuana. Everybody's got a medical marijuana card. It's like for anxiety, or glaucoma. I'm gonna smoke a joint because of a glaucoma. They normalized it. They normalized it, unfortunately, and it's not a good thing. Thanks. The Marisan video was fun and highly recommend. Oh yeah, that place is awesome, man. That place is awesome. I'm still not sure how to pronounce Mararison or Malalison. Yeah, it's the same. I see that sometimes. It says Mararison. It's easy for me to pronounce Mararison. That's why I pronounce it that way, James. That's right. No neighborly in USA. Just hi and goodbyes, right? Hi and goodbyes, Here, man, it's like on my street, like when Dazzle and I walk in the sunset, sometimes, we even stop. We're doing our morning, our sunset walks together, and we see a couple, like my kuya right there, we'll see him, and we haven't seen him we'll stop. We'll say, hey, what you been up to, Kuya Rex? And we're talking, oh, yeah, we just went to Boracay, went to, it's just like that. It's like that here. And we care. We're friends on Facebook. When we say happy birthday to them, their kids, their grandkids, and there's just a sense of community here. In the U.S., like you said, Derek, everybody's doing their own thing. And, it's like, I think I would prefer places like that rather than crowded touristy places. Plenty, man, plenty of places like that, Joe Cano. If you're not the Boracay type with all the tourists, you got Mararison Island, the Antique province, all Pandan Antique, so many resorts there where you're gonna be the only one there. It's like you'll stay overnight at these places now with like Starlink, restaurant, everything, and you're the only one on the beach. Paying over 35k peso in Cebu for older one bedroom. Just find out. Yeah, see right there, it's gonna be always more expensive in Cebu City and Metro Manila, especially BGC, that's like the high end. Same thing in Cebu City. If you're there's a lot of high end area there, Mactan, Newtown, IT Park, and then you got to deal with the traffic, the amount of people. That's why, I've said it many times, Panay Island, if you decide to come here to Panay Island, this is a hidden gem. It's like not overrun yet, not overrun yet with the expats here. Even at the Canadian Beaver, you'll see Sunday. I mean, it's a get together, there's expat there, but that's not the normal like size of people that go there. It's like because it's a meetup. We're all scheduled to go there, but on a typical day, it's not overrun by expats, because I do know people are particular about that too, having too many expats. They say. Then they try to charge peso monthly to use it. Yeah, you got to be careful with that. You have to be careful with that, Daniel. That's why I've already done that hard part for you guys. It's like though, I know other apartments in Calibo, and I've tried to put people on other apartments in Calibo, but I find out they make it difficult. One guy I tried to put at one of the apartments in Calibo, not La Casa, another apartment. We all agreed on. I was acting as the middle person. The guy was still in Canada. I was trying to put him in the apartment. I thought we were at the agreed price and everything. And then once the guy was ready to pay him, he was asking for more money. So to me, that's shady. There's gonna be people like that. I understand that. That's why, for me, like Merle, going to Boracay, I helped him secure this apartment through my friend Rosalie, because I know Rosalie's a friend. She's not gonna, Filipina at La Casa Española, she's my friend. She's not gonna like rip you off. She's not gonna charge you extra, which unfortunately it does happen here. Daniel found out the hard way. Iloilo is a good, soft, perfect. To me, if you want to land in the Philippines for the first time, you cannot find a better city than Iloilo City as far as your soft landing. It's the best city in the Philippines as far as a soft landing. Young Fresh, hey, one thing I experienced in BGC, they were asking for I know that, Young Fresh. That's why they asked for 3 months. Some of them even asked like 1 year of written checks. Like you have to write written checks for like your rent for July, your rent for August. They're holding your checks already that you signed already. Some condos in BGC want that. They want their money for sure. They want their money for sure, and I can't blame them because. If you're in that business, if you're in the apartment rental, you want to have secure money. people have been known to run, not pay their rent here, not the expats, of course, because expats, you guys got to pay, but, Filipinos have been known to like not pay rent for a few months and then just bail on the rental property. The reason like La Casa Española is offering that no deposit for expats is you're an expat. They know that if you run on them on the rent, if something happens, the Bureau of Immigration is just around the corner in Calibo. They can report you there, so, and I have not had any problems with the people I helped here that are expats. Their rent is on time. The people that I deal with here, like Filipina, the people, Rosalie and Boracay, they know that. They know. I'm not just gonna put a person there that it's, that's, it goes both ways. It's, the reputation of the landlord. Also, I've talked to the people already. I did a video chat with people, so I know I can tell if the person is gonna be acting shady too, because it happens too, right? There's expats that moved here too that are kind of shady. 3 months security deposit. What is the normal deposit security in Iloilo? All right, Iloilo. Just depends on like me, when I lived at Uptown Place condominium, 4 months I lived there, I'll rent month to month. Now, let me warn you, if you're renting month to month here in Iloilo City, chances are your rent's gonna be higher, a little bit higher than if you sign a lease. So you kind of have to balance that. For me, I always rent month to month. I don't mind paying an extra 2,000 or 3,000 in rent, because I want that option to where if I don't like the place, if something, some guy moves in next door playing drums, electric guitar, karaoke at night, I have that option to move out, put my 30-day notice and I'm out of there. I do not want to be stuck in an apartment where I'm gonna sit, a whole year where I'm gonna have a terrible neighbor, and then, it can get confrontational when you have, if you gotta knock on his door, hey man, you gotta lower them, I don't want to deal with that. That's why ever since I moved here to the Philippines, I lived 18 months in Boracay, 4 years in Calibo, 4 months in Iloilo. I've had 3 rentals here in the Philippines. I've never signed a lease, always month to month. As an expat, as we have the power here. One thing I always tell, you're in a good advantage as far as if you're the renter for a landlord. The reason I say that, when I lived in Calibo for 4 years in Calibo, at the apartment owned by my friend, expat owned it, Larry. The person I would pay my rent every month, she said, Gino, I wish you're like the rest of the tenants here. They got tenants there that were like 3-4 months late on rent. I was always on time with my rent, and most expats here are always on time with rent. So, and the landlords here know that. The landlords here know that. They do not have to worry about expats not having money, for the most part. Good AM, Gino fam and Panay Pasi Fortune, my brother in Bacoor, Cavite. I asked them if I can do 5 months rent and 1 month security, which is the same money, but they insisted on wanting 3 months security, 3 months, and I didn't do it. Yeah, BGC, operates a little different than the province. Young Fresh, BGC, everything's contractual. They want it on hard writing, like I said, because it's like the rents are higher there. Here in the province, you'll find out when you move in Pandan Antique or here in Panay Island or Aklan Province, a lot of handshake deals happen here. People, your word means something here. It's like if I'm having something built, even the rental, people agree with the handshake. Not It's different in the city because it's a city. It's a city. There's more stuff going on in the city. Province people are more relaxed, more, oh, you're okay. It's like you get that more. In the city, man, it's all about business in the city. Good AM, Derek, Joe, Lowell, got Mike, the Duke of Duma. All right. Good AM, Fortune, Milio, Fortune. Hey, Gino, that's the rule of my mom too. When we were in elementary morning shift, We were allowed to play outside. Yeah, right? You're allowed to play. But the minute that light comes on, the street light, man, you better be home. You're going to get a spanking if you didn't get home by that time. Because she's already looking outside because she don't want us out to be on the streets. And I grew up in Manila, so the streets of Manila, I was out there in the streets of Manila. Any minute late, palo, right? Palo. Palo is spanking, Usually, my mom would be waiting with a switch, like a branch from like a tree. We had like a makopa tree in front of our house. She'll break off that thing and she's waiting. She's waiting on me, man. So I made sure I was on time. Good AM, James, Karen. Hello, Gino. Good morning, Ramil. All right, Ramil. That James, original name, Mararison, but Japanese. Oh, because the Japanese have a hard time pronouncing. Okay, thank you for that. Thank you for that, Fortune. I always wonder why some people call it Malalison, some people call it Mararison. I always call Mararison, easier for me to, to remember it. 10:30 for the airport. What's up, Fortune? We'll go to Ted's. Oh, that's right, Fortune. Safe travel for. I forgot. Today is Independence Day. Today is Fortune's trip to Panglao, Bohol. And you misclassify someone's gender. They shame you here. It is so sad. It is so sad. I can't wait to move to the Philippines. I will stay in BGC. Good move. That's a soft landing. BGC soft landing. 1 year, then I'm going to Iloilo City. Then Panda. Oh man, you got it all planned out, man. You got it all planned out, man. That's a nice soft landing for you, Young Fresh. Coming from New York, BGC, then Iloilo, slowly, learning the culture here. Perfect, man. You got a good plan. That will work. Your plan will work for sure. The golden rule, Gino. He who has the gold makes the rules. He who has the gold makes the rules. Young Fresh, I like the Home Depot store. Oh yeah, you like that. What is that? Oh man, Wilcon Depot. There's a lot of American products there, man. A lot of imported goods. That I think, plants. You bought the plant, Colonel. Yeah, the excuse. I didn't see the lights were on, man. I didn't see the light on. Yeah, here in the Philippines, my excuse was like there was a brownout, Mom. It didn't came on. There's a brownout. The street light didn't come on. I was talking about the gender thing because you, mentioned I know the pronoun thing, right? To a little kid, that's got to be confusing, right? If there's so much as a kid. If you're like 7-year-old in first grade, there's already a lot of stuff going on in your head. Now you got to worry about, you got to be careful, what your kid says. It is so weird. They do that in America. A man calling right? A man calling himself a woman. Yeah, we don't have that. We don't have that here. Maybe they do, but I don't see it. This is a very strict Catholic country here in the Philippines. We're still normal. We're still normal. It's like everything's still normal here. Colonel, one time my playmates hit slippers that palo. So I found it home 6 p.m. Got lots of palo. Yeah, that's common. That's common here. Get spanked with a slipper, with a switch, sometimes with a hanger. I remember getting spanked with a hanger too. How you doing? Morning, Colonel Henry. Sir, Young Fresh, when you go to drive there, do you come back the same day or stay overnight? It's great. Usually we stay overnight because it's about a 3.5 hour drive for me to go to Iloilo City. So we always stay either the In-Jap Hotel, we stay at the In-Jap Hotel, or the Hop Inn. The Hop Inn are usually 2,000 at the In-Jap. At the Hop Inn, maybe 1.5. So, $30, $40 a night for a hotel. I like when you and Dad say, good morning, Mom. Good morning, Mom. Coffee time, Mom. Coffee time. when you and Dazzle show, yeah, I tried to do that. I tried to make a conscious effort to discuss prices. All right, I'll keep going. I'll keep going with the cost of living. Now, if you're living here in Aklan province, like for me, Dazzle and I, we experienced it when we lived in Iloilo City for those 4 months during my treatments, and comparing it here, it's about everything in Iloilo City about 20 to 25% more in Iloilo City. So could be a big difference, when you think about it. If you're living in Calibo compared to Iloilo City, because it's just the way it is. It's prices in the cities will be higher here. Okay, for a lot of times I get this question regarding vegetables here in the Philippines. One of the things that are more expensive here as far as vegetables would be like broccoli. Broccoli is expensive here, especially here in Panay, because they just don't grow well here. The broccoli grows well like in higher elevation. The ones they grow here are like mostly the stem and like the little bulb. And so there's gonna be vegetables here, and I've seen comments before on the videos that I make. Oh, your potatoes are more expensive there in the Philippines, and that's just the way it is. There's gonna be items here, vegetable products, that's gonna be more expensive. Fruit, strawberries, extremely expensive if you're like a strawberry eater. I can't remember the last time I eat a strawberry because it's so expensive here in the Philippines, because they usually come from Baguio City, the strawberry, or here, Anilangan place in Antique. Not many strawberries. So that is true. There's going to be items here that the regular spinach that you eat in the United States. I used to like it in my salad. I've never seen it here. We have their version of spinach here called kangkong, very cheap, water spinach, but it's not the same texture. It's not this, Filipinos, that's one thing about Americans and Filipinos. In America, we love eating salad. Salad with dressing, right? Lettuce, whatever, spinach, arugula, whatever green leafy that you mix and you put a vinaigrette dressing. That's a common thing in the United States, right? In the Philippines, Filipinos don't eat vegetables that way. More Filipinos are eating salad now, I see, but it's not common. Filipinos like to cook their vegetables, like the kangkong, they'll cook that. Cabbage is a big vegetable here that Filipinos eat. Okra, eggplant, bitter melon, very popular. Ampalaya, bitter melon, very popular. But all those vegetables, Filipinos will cook it. That's why here in the Philippines, when you're here, when you go to a restaurant, maybe in Manila, Cebu City, you'll see more salad. But here in Calibo, not many restaurants will offer salad. Now, the Argon Cafe, one of them, they offer salad. Cafe Senja offers it. But a lot of times, the salad, it looks like a garden salad. The simple garden salad with lettuce, tomatoes, cucumbers, red onion. Simple garden salad will be more expensive than the entree, because you have to look at it at the side of the businesses here. They, not many Filipinos eat it. So they can hold, vegetables, they spoil quick, and they're not fresh after sitting in the refrigerator for a while, right? So don't be surprised when you go to like restaurants in Calibo, restaurants in Boracay, where your salad is more expensive than your meat. You're ordering pork chops or even steak, and sometimes a salad costs more than the entree. Very common here that it works like that. Yo Tim, yo Tim, my good friend in Las Vegas, Viva Las Vegas. My mom liked using a wooden spoon. They got those here too, man. They got those wooden spoons here, Lowell. Where's JP? JP, where is he? I haven't seen him. I did a live stream. When was that? Monday was my last. I'm gonna do less live stream now, maybe twice a week at the most, and I'll schedule them now. But I don't know. I did get a text from here like 2 days ago. Doing well, Henry. I'll see him. I'll see JP. He's headed to the Canadian Beaver also, because he told me 2 days ago he already booked his hotel. He's gonna stay overnight, like we are. We're gonna stay overnight too. We're gonna stay at the San Antonio Resort, right across the Canadian Beaver. Now we can just walk to the Canadian Beaver. Yo 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 mom. she went in, yo 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 mom. Tim said yo 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 mom. Yo yo yo. Lowell, I had wooden spoon break on my back. You broke it. Yeah, I was as a little kid. I was typical kid, man. I loved riding my bike and skateboard, and I would forget the time. I would forget the time and not come home on the right time. Derek, are you? Sure, maybe a typo there. Maybe a typo. Colonel Fortune, Colonel, I did as well. When my girlfriend and I were in Manila, BGC, she said that her first time trying strawberries and cherries, they don't have. Oh yes, it's not a common. Now, strawberries and cherries not common. Those aren't, and that's the other thing that people always, I'll get a comment once in a while. They'll say, oh, the vegetables here, they're in the Philippines are more expensive, or the fruits in the Philippines are more expensive because they see the price of cherry or they see the price of strawberry. But, the thing is, it's no different like in America, right? If you're living in Arizona, seafood in Arizona is going to be expensive because you're landlocked, you're in the desert, it's got to be shipped to Arizona. It's the same thing here. There's going to be stuff like in Panay Island, like the strawberries coming from Baguio all the way from Luzon coming here. It's going to be expensive when it comes there. No different. But overall, like for me, my thing is, if you're going to another country, vegetable to me is vegetable or fruit. It might not be the same vegetables that you eat at your country, but why not adapt to like vegetables in the local vegetables here? Because here in the Philippines, if the vegetables that are very inexpensive, the kangkong, the water spinach, bitter melon, ampalaya, really inexpensive here. Squash is eggplant, okra. There's so many vegetables here that are so inexpensive here. You can go to the market for like 100 pesos, less than 2 bags, and you'll have a bag of vegetables here. Why not, switch your diet to like, you're living here now. There's so many stuff, like the malunggay leaves. You can get it for free. You can just get papayas are really inexpensive here. There's so much papaya here, and it's good for you. Good for your digestion. So many fruits that are inexpensive here, but a lot of times, well, they don't have berries. They don't have berries. That's what I get from people. But what, Gino and Fortune, are we not better, man? Oh, for sure. I know my strict mom made me a better person because I was scared of my mom. You don't want to get in trouble with your mom because it wasn't like in the U.S., oh, you're grounded. It wasn't like that when I was growing up here in the Philippines. You're going to get spanked. Not even blueberries. Yeah, blueberries. Not, anything berries, young fresh, it's not common. That's why when I see blueberries at the SM Cherry here or Save More Grocery, they're not cheap. They're not cheap here. And, strawberries, blueberries, and, very expensive. Peaches, just never tried. We had, yeah, there's gonna be a lot of fruits. It would be the same thing with you, our young fresh. There's gonna be so many fruits here that you've never tried. Rambutan, you got lanzones, macopa. There's gonna be a lot of stuff that I'm sure you've never heard of or you've never tried. Same dynamic because this is a tropical country. There's a lot of tropical fruits here. Atis. I know you probably never had the atis before. The star apple. It's not the same as an apple. Star apple, you open it and it's like creamy and juicy inside, you know. It's just the same dynamic because Filipinos grow up on different fruits and different vegetables. A few years ago, went to Target, an infant area. They had 7-foot evil Satan. Ooh, wow. Horns, baby claw. Ooh, wow. Yeah, I don't know about that. That's not gonna fly here. That's not gonna fly here. Again, this is a very religious country here. This is mostly Catholics and if not Protestants, other religion. It's like anything between the devil. That's not gonna fly, right? That's not any kind of devil display. That's not gonna go well here in the Philippines. That's gonna be banned really quick. The tag's name Satan Respect. Oh wow. Yeah, that it's a different country and a different culture. How expensive are apples and bananas? Many varieties of bananas. I would say at least a dozen variety of banana. Inexpensive here. In our province, very inexpensive because a lot of the bananas here come from Balete, where James and Karen's live. That's where the bananas come from. They're 30 minutes away from my house where all the bananas come from. So you can imagine how inexpensive banana is. Apples, I don't think they come here in Aklan province, but I was just at the apple stand, in the fruit stands, and I saw apples 10 pesos each for an apple. So 6 pieces of apples for $1. So I don't know comparison wise how much that is, but and different varieties of apple. I think a lot of the apple come from China though. Come from China, I think. I don't see Washington apples. I don't see that often. Maybe if you live in Manila in the BGC, they might ship Washington apples there, but I think we get the ones from China here in Aklan. Gerald, morning Gino, blessings. Doug from Colorado. All right, Doug. After years of morning mountain hikes, the feet are so for future sand. Oh yeah, man. It's like so easy to find an area here. Man, here in Panay Island, I live 10 minutes from the beach. I can walk on the beach anytime I want to. And in Panay Island, we're surrounded by water. It's like all the province. It doesn't matter if you're in Antique, Aklan, Iloilo, Capiz. There's so much water here, so many beach areas here. Not hard to find sand and beach to walk on here. Colonel Gino, I got the spanking and then the grounding. A lot of books during those years. Yeah, that's same thing with my mom. My mom was pretty strict. If you buy the locally produced products, so much cheaper, right, Derek? Thank you for saying that. That's why I often, to me, it just makes sense. Like for me, meat. I'll talk about meat since I talk about produce. I talk about fruits. Meat. Like for me, I love steaks. I lived in Texas for 4 years. I love eating steaks. Steak is one of the food that I've given up. The last time I ate steak here was in 2016 when my good friend from Hawaii, he went to Boracay, he wanted steak and he treated me to a steak. I have not eaten steak in 10 years. And I love steak. But to me, it's expensive here. So I adjusted my diet. I just removed the steak from my diet. I eat more pork and I eat more chicken because it's cheaper here. If you're a beef eater, steak is expensive here. Not gonna lie to you. The good steaks that you might get here come from Australia or New Zealand, maybe Japan. They're gonna be at SNR in Iloilo City. Here in Calibo, sometimes I do see like sirloin or something like that, but it's not as nice as the steaks in America. Even the ground beef. I do buy ground beef once in a while, but it's not the same ground beef that you have in America. If you want American quality beef, you have to go to SNR, and you're gonna pay a premium. It's not gonna be cheap. I think I did a video on SNR. I was filming all the different cuts there of beef, ground beef, exact same thing that you would see in America. You know, the color of it looks nice. You know, it's like the red ground beef. You know, then sometimes I go to the SM Cherry and Save More Grocery here in Calibo, and I'm looking at their ground beef. It's kind of light on the color. It's not red meat. You know, I'm looking at it's kind of pale. You know, towards the whitish color. Sometimes is that beef? It looks like pork to me. So that's why, you know, I've just adjusted my diet. You know, I know steaks are expensive here, so I just removed it from my diet. I eat more chicken. I eat more pork and seafood, because seafood's a lot cheaper here. Fish is cheap here. You know, we get fresh catch of the day fish here, pretty much any day. You know, it's like like I said, we live close, 10 minutes to the ocean, you know, to the beach here. There's vendors on the highway here, stalls where early in the morning and at sunset time, they'll bring out these coolers full of fresh fish, tuna, mackerel, red snapper. You know, that's where you're gonna love it here in Aklan province. It's the seafood, because Filipinos are really particular when it comes to seafood. They want to buy the freshest seafood. I've not known a Filipino that eats frozen seafood. It's not a thing here. You know, it's like if it's frozen, Filipinos are, it's frozen. I don't want that. You know, they want fresh. They want like fresher than they catch here in the Philippines. But that's where you would save your money. You know, it's like if you like tilapia, you know, bangus, the milkfish. You know, there's so many fish here that are inexpensive. You know, but I know, you know, some people don't eat fish, other seafoods. You know, you got squid, you got crab, you got shrimp, you got prawn, you got oysters, you got mussels. There's so much seafood here. If you like seafood, you're gonna love the Philippines. Aklan Province, Panay Island, you're gonna love this area. You're gonna be eating some of the freshest seafood that you can eat. I remember watching James and Karen's video not too long ago with Jen, and they're eating at the roadside. It's along the highway, roadside stand with fresh oysters, where the lady is like cooking the oysters. You can eat it raw, but I don't recommend eating raw oyster. I like them cooked also. But the lady will cook the oysters for you. Very inexpensive. I think they were paying 50 or 60 pesos per kilo. 1 kilo of oysters for like $1. You know, you can't buy oysters. I know in Louisiana, when I lived in Louisiana, you know, it's like a plate full of oysters, at least $10, even back then. You know, so I can't imagine now how much a plate full of oysters will cost now. If you buy locally there produce products, so much cheaper. Yeah, and that's the thing where, you know, for us living here in Numancia, Aklan, I know we save a lot of money here just because our produce, our fruits, rice, they're all locally sourced. They're here in Aklan. You know, it doesn't have to be shipped anywhere. You know, a lot of the vendors at Numancia Public Market, you can tell that they're like local growers here, because like when I buy my potatoes or when I buy my carrots, sometimes there's dirt on it, and I don't mind that. I don't mind coming home and washing it. I don't mind, you know, peeling it. I don't mind doing it. I like that it's like that, because I know, you know, nanay or tatay that's selling me nanay and tatay that's selling me the product. That's the things that they plant. You know, they harvested it and they take it to the market. You know, I like that farmers vibe kind of thing. Stopping by. All right, thank you, Jason Potter, man. So kind, my brother. Appreciate it, Jason Potter. Chuck, I don't like the long beans. Do they have short beans? I have seen the short beans. I see those short beans more like at SM Cherry or at the grocery, the franchise grocery, and usually they're like in a styrofoam with plastic on it. The short beans, but I know what you're talking about. The Chinese long beans. That's what I eat. I eat the Chinese long beans because those are inexpensive. A bundle of those long beans are like 10 pesos to 20 pesos, not even 30 cents, 40 cents for, like a bundle of the China. But I know it's like different. It's a different texture from the string beans in the United States. Fruit in America is really expensive. Yeah, I haven't been in the U.S., Jason. So you guys tell me. You guys are the ones. All I've seen is like sometimes I watch a video in the U.S. and I see like mangoes or especially products from the Philippines that they send to the United States. Filipinos in the United States they crave lanzones. Lanzones is a fruit here, or rambutan. Certain things that they don't have in America. And even calamansi, that little lime or lemon that we have here, man, they're like over here they're so inexpensive, but of course because it has to be shipped all the way to the U.S., it's a lot of money. People, a lot of times when I see those videos, I show it to Dazzle. Dazzle go, oh wow, I can't believe they're paying that kind of money for that. Dazzle said, here, I just gotta go on the corner and pick it off the tree, somebody's tree. Chuck, they're short beans after you cut them. After you cut them, I have seen. I know what he means. I've seen them. Not often. But when I have seen them, I know I've seen them at the grocery, not at the public market. In the public market, all I see is the long Chinese. Hi Gino, the red color on beef is food color. Oh, I did not know that. I did not know that it's. It just looks like so appetizing to me. I remember in the U.S. when I go to shop or when I go to SNR and I'm looking at the meat, it looks like it's still got blood in it. The ones that I see like at the grocery at SM Cherry, when I look at it, it looks kind of pale. But food coloring, good strategy, I guess. But like I said, I don't eat steaks anymore. Not on my diet anymore. I do buy beef. I'll buy beef like for bulalo, the shank, beef shank, because bulalo is a Filipino dish, soup dish with like the bone marrow, and the shank is what we use. I do buy the shank, and I'll boil that. I'll put it in a slow cooker for many hours. Then you add vegetables to it. I add broccoli to mine. I add corn, string beans, cabbage. Just throw a bunch of potatoes, carrots, and I throw it in the pot or on the slow cooker. Amazing every time. And that's why mostly when I eat beef here, because beef is tough here. Especially if you buy the beef at the market. If you buy the beef at the public market here, I think I mentioned it before. It's kind of funny where the leg of the beef is like hanging, and you got the hoof. The hoof is showing because they want to show you that it's beef. Because if you don't have the hoof, if you got meat that's hooked up there, it might not be beef. It might not be a cow. So it's a proof that they got the hoof, because and then they'll slice you meat from that. And some people they're not sure about buying that in the public market, because it's not refrigerated and all that. And I totally understand that. That's why a lot of people, like most of the products that we buy, when it's chicken, pork, we buy the Magnolia packaged dressed chicken at SM Cherry. Same thing with pork, the pork lempo. We just bought like baby back ribs, beef, pork ribs. We buy it at SM Cherry also, because it's refrigerated, frozen, safer. I think it's like once in a while, I know Dazzle, she'll, because she likes the public market. She buys the fish there. And then if we're lazy, she might buy the chicken there, because they don't refrigerate. They don't refrigerate the chicken, the pork, and the beef at the public market, And, being medical, I understand public health, being safe with the food, but so I try to buy those kind of items, chicken, pork, at SM Cherry or Save More instead of the public market. I noticed that eggs are sold outside of it's never refrigerated here. Eggs are not refrigerated here. I think they stay because they say they don't wash them either. It's like, sometimes you can tell, it's like, and the eggs here are I mean, the prices of eggs actually have gone down. I was like, the other day, it's like, I just, we always buy from Trigen. Trigen is a bakery and they sell eggs there. I paid for large eggs. It was 8 pesos each, a dozen for like 96 pesos. So $1.50 for 1 dozen of the large eggs, and they're good eggs. I've never gotten sick. It's like people say, oh, they don't refrigerate it because the eggs don't last here. When they deliver that day, they run out of eggs. It's like Levi, right, from the Future Farmers of Aklan. He's in Katiglan. You see him like harvesting his eggs almost every day, and then he takes it to the market, and it gets sold out fast here. It doesn't stay long. It doesn't stay long here. Like I said, I've been eating those eggs here for 15 years. I've never gotten sick over it. But my girlfriend and mom still buy it. I'm fine with whatever they cook for me, but I never saw eggs outside. Yeah, all the eggs are sold outside. Even at SM Cherry and even at Save More, the grocery stores in Calibo, like brick and mortar type grocery, like the same in the US, they don't refrigerate eggs here. Cheap pound was $130 for a gallon. Cheap. I can't read that one. Sorry, I can't read that one, Henry. I'm sorry. One avocado, $2.50. LOL. Yeah, here avocado usually I can get them for like 60, 70 pesos a kilo. So about a dollar for. It's seasonal though. It's not always available. So when that's the thing too. I was gonna mention with the fruits, especially with the fruits. A lot of fruits here are seasonal, except for mango. It seems like bananas, mangoes, you got them all throughout the year. But certain fruits just come out a certain time. Avocado being one of them. During the season of avocado, the prices drop on them. So, you can get like bags of like avocado. They're so cheap here. And nice meeting you. All right, thank you, Phil. Most countries hang their beef for 28 days. In the Philippines, it is fresh meat. I think so, right, Phil? Because I think in the Philippines, every time I go to the market, it's not like, I know that that's a big thing in people's, eyes. You see the meat products, just hanging, no refrigeration. But, it will spoil if they if it takes them a long time to sell it. It's like, you can tell when something's not, it smell, or you can just look at it that, that it's no good anymore. But just to be safe, go to the grocery stores instead. A lot of times the prices are similar because the big grocery chain, the SM is the big company here, SM Cherry, Save More, I think SM manages them too. They can buy their meat, their frozen meat in bulk. They get good price for that instead of the public market where it's not frozen yet, fresh beef. So a lot of times I notice the prices are about the same. A gallon of oysters open is $130 a gallon. Oh man, here the way they sell it, they do it. There's some those pint, the the rum, Tanduay rum pint. It's like a pint, and they fill it with like the oysters. You know, they'll chuck the oysters. They'll fill that, a whole bottle of that, a whole bottle of like fresh oysters. I remember one time I paid 150. So $2.50 because they're good to make with gumbo. You know, one time I could eat shellfish. I can't eat them now. I'm allergic to shellfish now. But when I was, you can make gumbo from the oysters. You can even just bread them and fry them. You know, it's like many ways you can cook oysters here. Very inexpensive. I have 3 eggs in my fridge that have been there for 4 months. I don't know if I'd want to eat that. Man, our eggs never, I can buy a dozen eggs and 4 days it's gone. But there's 4 of us. There's 4 of us. And we all like eggs. Leanna's an egg eater. Dazzle's an egg eater. I like eggs. Eggs do not last. We have to buy eggs almost every week. 12 eggs is nothing for us. We eat that quick. The avocado vitamin K, very, very important for you, Gino. All right. Hey, I love avocado, man. Dazzle gets that for me every time too. I make guacamole even. I even just scoop it. I put it on sandwiches. Thank you. I love fruits and vegetables here. You know, it's like that's the most that I eat here. We are same age from Korea. All right, same age. All right. So I did vegetables. What else? I'm going through my notes here. Like I said, here in the Philippines, Filipinos like to cook their vegetables. If you're looking for like to try out like a Filipino vegetable dish, one of the most popular dishes here is called pinakbet. Pinakbet, so inexpensive for them to make pinakbet here. Pinakbet has got bitter melon on it, okra, string beans, eggplant, onions and garlic, of course, and they use oyster sauce sometimes for seasoning. But you can go to the public market here, and they'll have it in a bag where it's already sliced for you. Even all you got to do is get home and put that pinakbet vegetables, and they usually the long bag, good for 3-4 people, 25 pesos. 50 US cents. That's one of the cheapest vegetable dish here, very popular. And then mongo for Friday, like today's Friday. Mongo is very popular with Filipino. It's like mongo beans, little tiny beans. You gotta soak the beans a little bit, and then they put vegetables on the mongo, cook it in coconut milk. So I know people sometimes say, like Filipino food, they don't try Filipino food. To me, that's unfortunate because I think Filipino food is good. I think, it's like, you know how it is. If you find a good person that knows how to cook, then they can make anything taste good. Now, if you meet somebody that can't cook, it don't matter if it's like a ribeye steak, they'll mess that up, right? I guess it's hit or miss, the Filipina that you meet, whether they're a good cook or not. But, try it at a good restaurant. Like here in Calibo, we have the backyard. The backyard, to me, I highly recommend the backyard. If you've never eaten Filipino food, man, they make good Filipino food. They're authentic kare-kare, bulalo, sisig, man. I think you're gonna like it. If you try the Filipino food. But I do understand there's some foreigners that they don't want to try Filipino food. You're missing out, man. You're missing out if you're not willing to try Filipino food, because I think there's some Filipino food that are just amazing. What's the name again of the housing area? La Casa Española, Apartel. It's on Facebook. You can type La Casa. I've done videos. Look through my playlist of like Calibo videos, and La Casa Española is there. I've done like a couple of videos on La Casa Española. Dave, hello Gino, my wife, a wonderful Pinay from Samar. All right, awesome. And I have been watching. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you for watching our channel. Appreciate that, my friend. Having your treatment. Oh yeah, difficult times, man. Difficult times for me. So glad that. Oh yeah. I'm so blessed, man. I'm so grateful. I got a second chance in life. If you've been watching me during my treatments, you remember what I look like. You remember what I looked like 3 years ago now. I've been cancer free 3 years ago now. So I really feel blessed. I really feel blessed. Dave in Idaho. All right. Hector. Pinakbet, healthy, and oh yeah, Ruben, my friend Ruben, he's in San Diego right now, but he's gonna be headed back here soon. I think end of June, he's gonna be back in Calibo. Pinakbet is like Ruben's go-to meal. Oh, there's Dazzle, and Kalel. That's our new baby, Kalel. Probiotic bagoong. Just don't put lots of pork, just small shrimp. Yeah. That baby, when you cook pinakbet, you don't even put like a lot of pork or shrimp on it. You just go all vegetables. Yeah, that's when she cooks our pinakbet. It's strictly vegetables. She doesn't even put shrimp or pork on it. Anything new with TRICARE overseas? Oh, Hector, all right. I did see something new about TRICARE. Let me, part of the news that I have. Where is that? TRICARE, right there. TRICARE. This is brand new. I caught this a day ago. It says, good news for TRICARE members. TRICARE is the medical military insurance for us, like military retirees that served in the military. St. Luke's Medical Center in the Philippines now accepts TRICARE Select Overseas and TRICARE for Life members for inpatient admission. Before they were just accepting it for outpatient, but now they're also accepting it for inpatient admission. And St. Luke's here in the Philippines, there's one in Quezon City, one in BGC, one of those two top hospitals here in the Philippines. I don't think you can, get better hospitals than that here in the Philippines. St. Luke's in Manila. Avocado seeds are great for inflammation. Oh wow, I did not know that. Man, I always just chuck it. I thank you for that, Jason Potter. I just eat the meat, the avocado. I didn't know that the seeds are worth something. I know sometimes Dazzle plants. Dazzle always is planting seeds. She loves when she opens the fruit. She always plant the seeds here, and then it ends up in our land in Katiklan. All right, let me continue with the items here that I'm discussing. SM cherry. I talked about the beef. Let me go to the next page here. Costs of living. All right, cost of living. Still continuing on the cost of living. Okay, how do we save? Like me, I've been living here 15 years. How do I save here compared to what it costs me in the United States? These are just some of the things that I think everybody saves here because of these things. The vehicles here are inexpensive. Like we bought our Toyota Wigo, three-cylinder Toyota Wigo a hatchback car. It was $625. The new model, I just saw the new model of the Toyota Wigo. Let me do the math here on the calculator. It's 685,000 pesos. 608, brand new, 2026 model. With the current exchange rate of 61, it's $11,200 for a brand new Toyota Wigo here in the Philippines right now. It's hard to find a car in the United States, right? That's brand new at that price. Usually cars in the US, they start at like $20,000. So you can save money on that. Vehicles, the vehicle insurance here. When I bought our Toyota Wigo, brand new, I had to pay full coverage insurance on it. Again, my car was 625,000 pesos. my insurance for it for the whole year, 1 year, full coverage insurance here was 14,000 pesos. So let me do the math on that. 14,000 pesos. How much is 14,000 pesos? This is the insurance that I paid for 1 year. At 61 exchange rate, 14,000. $229 was my insurance, brand new car. And one thing about insurance here in the Philippines is every time the following year, your insurance rates here drop because they base it on the value of your car. So the insurers here, standard insurance, a stronghold insurance, as the minute your car keeps dropping in value, your insurance rate is also dropping. I started in 2018, my insurance per year was 14,000 pesos a year, right? Now, last year, for this year, for 2026, I paid 8,000. 8,000 for full coverage on the car. So 8,000 full coverage on the vehicle at 61. $130 is all I pay for full coverage on our Toyota Wigo. We have a 2019 Toyota Wigo. That's some of the things that we save. We save money. And then a lot of times, if you pick the places here in the Philippines, public transportation is very available here at most places. Kalibo, you don't even need to get a car. You don't even need to get a car. And you see it, right, with a lot of vloggers here in the Philippines. Mike, that Philippine side, he's got a motorbike. Rock and Jazz, they got a motorbike. Because you don't really need a car here. It's like it's a luxury. It's a luxury to have. Most people will just buy a motorbike. Pay like for a Honda ADV. A Honda ADV costs about 160,000. So at today's exchange rate, 160,000 divided by 61. $2,600 for a Honda ADV 160, the most popular bike here in the Philippines. That and the NMAX, right? The Yamaha NMAX. But for expats, they love the Honda ADV 160cc. Here in the province, I see it so very common. So $2,600, and you got a motorbike. And you ask insurance. How about the insurance on the motorbike? It really is up to you. The required insurance on the motorbike here, like for Bumblebee, our tricycle, I've been paying insurance on it every year. You're only required to have liability insurance here. And I usually buy the liability insurance on the motorbike when I renew my registration. It's like 1,000 pesos for liability insurance for the whole year. Like $18 for the whole year on your. A lot of people just get that because they're careful with their bike, and then if you do slide on your bike or damage your bike, there's so many people here that repair motorcycles. Motorcycle repair here is very inexpensive. It's not like you're gonna pay an arm and a leg for a motorcycle repair here, unless you have to, main part of the motorbike you have to replace. But like minor damage on the motorbike, and they're good mechanics here with motorbike because they see so many motorbikes here. That's why they're good at that. Hi, babe. You're okay.
I'm cheating and looking at your notes.
Yeah, you're cheating. You're cheating, babe. You're looking at my notes. You're looking at my notes. I sent you something on it. Jason Potter. All right, Jason Potter. Hi, my brother Raymond. Tracy from Tracy, California. That's Leanna, mom. Yeah, we're all here because Leanna doesn't have school today. Independence Day here in the Philippines. So we're all home. We're all home today. Hector, is dependent ID card enough to getting admitted to TFL, or do the hospital need additional documents? ID is fine. A lot of times you don't even need your ID. A lot of times the hospital, they will check. They have a computer system there. You go to the whoever handles the TRICARE in those preferred facilities. Now, not many of them. There's not, not all hospitals here have a TRICARE department. St. Luke's has them. Asian Hospital, I think, in Manila. Here in Iloilo City, the one that I use that has a TRICARE office is Medical City Iloilo. Not many. Even Cebu City doesn't have a TRICARE preferred facility, or even Davao City. That's what Dumaguete City, they don't have a TRICARE preferred. They do have a lot of TRICARE certified hospitals, but at those you have to pay up front and then file with TRICARE. I like going to Medical City Iloilo because they have a TRICARE office, and all I have to worry about is the copay. I just pay my copay and I'm done. If I get admitted to their hospital, I pay my copay and they take care of the TRICARE. So research it before you come here. Before you select an area here, if you're relying on your TRICARE medical insurance, I recommend contacting them before you get sick. Don't wait till you're sick before you contact TRICARE. In that, to me, when you move to the Philippines, if you're going to use TRICARE insurance, you want to be close to a TRICARE preferred facility, at least within an hour or 2 hours. That way, you need to be admitted to the hospital, you can drive there, somebody can take you there. And then, don't wait until you get sick before you visit the office. Go there, make sure, hey, I want to make sure I'm on DEERS, right? You're registered in DEERS. Am I on your computer? A lot of people make this mistake. They're TRICARE Prime or TRICARE West in the United States. They assume that they're covered here in the Philippines. Not in a TRICARE preferred facility. The TRICARE preferred facility, you have to belong to TRICARE Select Overseas or TRICARE for Life. Don't assume anything. That's why if you come here, make sure you make the necessary research. Call TRICARE in Singapore. There is no TRICARE Philippines to contact. You gotta call TRICARE Singapore. Make sure you're enrolled at the right program here. That way, before you get sick, don't wait. Don't be one of those guys that all of a sudden you're sick and you're not eligible for TRICARE. Make sure you get that. Dazzle's got an ID card. We have to renew it. We have to renew her ID card, but she's still registered in DEERS and registered at Medical City Iloilo. I have no car here in Canada and won't have one. Yeah, no need. What's that? Jaws? No need for a car. Many people don't. And that's the other thing, that you will save money here in the Philippines, because, the cost of maintenance on the car insurance, you don't need it. A lot of retirees here don't have cars here. Most of them get a motorbike, But a lot of that, like JP's, he's got Blue Arrow, Ruben's got a Honda Click. A lot of it is just like getting around town and all that. And then just the freedom to have your own motorbike. No need, really. Yeah, tricycles are all over the place, right? It's like in Calibo, tricycles are like 15 pesos, a quarter, 25 US cents to ride a tricycle in Calibo. So really, you don't need a car. Tricycles, there's like 1,000 tricycles in Calibo, man. Jason Potter, 1980s car at 20K in America. Man, that's, if you like those older cars, here in the Philippines, one thing about the Philippines, the older cars, even like a VW Bug in the 60s or 70s, you'll still see them on the road here. Kind of like how it is in Cuba, right? In Cuba, you see all those vehicles that are running around in Cuba. Same thing here. You see vehicles here. Dang, that looks like but everything gets repaired here in the Philippines. Filipinos, they just don't, an electric fan, a microwave, a TV, a radio, everything gets repaired here. Nothing just gets thrown away here. There's in Calibo at the shopping area, I've filmed it before. If you have anything electronic here, they'll try to fix it. They'll solder it. They'll attempt anyway to fix anything electronics here. Niels, hello Niels from Phoenix, Arizona, from Phoenix. Monthly, wow, says 75K monthly at a place. 75 monthly at that place. I don't know what place it is, but not La Casa. La Casa Española for a one bedroom furnished is like 20K. I don't know which you are referring as 75. There's hardly anything here. That's 75K monthly. That would be in BGC. If you're living in BGC, common to see something like that in BGC in Manila. It's Joshua. All right, Joshua. Okay, Josh. Okay, so now I know it's Joshua. I'll try to remember that. New cars that used to be are for the see right there, right? Like even for me, like I said, like I can go to a dealership. I can go to like a Numancia dealership right now, Jason Potter. I saw it. And what's nice about here, you don't have to haggle here as far as the price. It's not like in the US, the car dealership is kind of stressful because the sticker price is not the real price. Here in the Philippines, what the sticker price, that's usually the price. There's no haggling, there's no if you pay cash, you'll get a discount. You'll even get a discount like I did when I paid cash. But a brand new, like I said, a brand new 2026 Toyota Wigo hatchback right now is $11,200. And it's a Toyota. You're buying a Toyota with all the parts of the Toyota here, with a dealership right here in the same town. It's like, you cannot get a Toyota in the America for 11,000, brand new a Toyota. Joshua, exactly. The vehicle insurance, gas, maintenance, repairs, etc. Not worth it. Exactly. It's like, why hassle with it, right? Again, like I said, I have a car because it's a luxury. It's something that I can afford. It's like, but not necessary. It's totally a luxury item. So we have a tricycle, and now we have a motorbike too. That's how we manage now with the high gas prices here. Thanks for your help. All right. Go to bed. Go tuck in your bed. Thank you so much for joining the live stream. All right, let me see regarding the. So even registration on the vehicle, like I have to renew the registration on Bumblebee, our tricycle, June this month, and then September I have to do our car. And I've done videos on the registration. My registration here, like on our car, including the smog test and annual registration, cost me about $50 for the registration. The other thing that you'll save money here, the quick comparison for people that like fast food. You like McDonald's, Burger King, you like that. Here, a quarter pounder with cheese with French fries and a drink is about 200 pesos, about $3.25 for McDonald's. And people ask me, is it the same McDonald's in the US? Yes, because I like eating a quarter pounder with cheese, and it's the exact same quarter pounder with cheese that I ate in the United States. When I go to Burger King in Iloilo, same thing. I do eat the Whopper Jr. I don't eat the too big for me, the Whopper. But a Whopper Jr., French fries, and a drink cost me about 160 pesos. So $2.50 for a value meal. And people tell me that a value meal in the US is no longer a value meal because it's costing over $14-15 now for a value meal. It's not really a value anymore. Hotels. That's when you go on vacation, here, that's you'll save money on hotels here. People say there's cheaper hotels in Thailand, Vietnam. I'm not going to argue with that, but compared to the US, a hotel, all right? I can go to Boracay right now. Our favorite hotel where Dazzle and I always stay. We stay at the Piccolo Hotel in Boracay Island. 5-minute walk to the beach, 2 indoor swimming pool, breakfast included for 2 people. We pay $40 a night. Now, Tell me a vacation resort, Boracay Island, the top beach. If you go to like Florida, maybe like in the beaches in Florida, with a hotel stay with a breakfast for two, I don't think you'll find anything for $40. That's another thing. Vacations, we save money when we go on vacation here. Movies. If you like movies, like when we go to Iloilo City, we try to watch a movie every time in Iloilo City. The movies here in the Philippines, the cheapest one, the cheapest movie ticket is 350 pesos. So, and it's a good theater. It's a SM City Iloilo. $5.75 for a movie ticket if you want to watch a movie at the SM. Now, there's more expensive ones like the IMAX if you want to watch it on IMAX, or if you want those directors, they call it a director's, where it's like it's like a leather chair, automatic. It like lays you down, everything. You got you got big room. Now you might have to pay double that price instead of $5. You might pay $10, but still, I know a lot more expensive in the U.S. if you're watching a movie there. Now in the house, like again on the house here, I just paid my homeowner's insurance, my property insurance. I just paid it. It's on my phone here. It was about $90. It was like 4,000 something, 800 for this house. I have a 2-bedroom, 1-bath. My property insurance in case of fire, earthquake, or whatever is about $90 a year is what I pay. Break that out into like monthly, it's like hardly anything, right? I know my friend Brian, he was telling me that's one of the reasons why he lives by the Gulf of America in Galveston County, Texas. And he says because he's in a hurricane area, he has to pay $7,000 in hurricane insurance. That's insane. Nothing like that here in the Philippines. Property tax, another thing I wanted to discuss because that's big too, right? In America, if you property tax. Here in the Philippines, my 2-bedroom, 1-bath home, I have it on a mortgage, a 15-year mortgage. It started in 2015, so I got about 4 more years on the mortgage. Guess what? I do not pay property tax because I don't own the land yet. I have a mortgage with the bank. The bank owns it, so I'm not even on the hook to pay property tax. Once I get the title on the land, then I have to pay property tax, and it's nowhere near property taxes in America because the school here in Numancia where Liana goes, it's the government of the Philippines, like kind of like the federal government. The Department of Education is who pays for the school. The park, we have a park, the plaza area. The town does upgrade that playground, but it's nowhere near what Americans are paying for property taxes. We don't have like police cars here in Numancia. We might have it's kind of like a multi-cab. It's some open multi-cab with like the police on it, but we don't have like a big police force here in Numancia. The police department, I know it's at the plaza area. If I go in there, there's maybe 4 or 5 people there. It's kind of like those small town in the U.S., the sheriff, got a deputy. That's kind of how Numancia is because our population is only about 25,000 people here in Numancia. My cell phone, monthly cost for my cell phone. Here in the Philippines, you can bring a cell phone here in the U.S. as long as it's unlocked. Make sure smartphone, iPhone, whatever phone you bring to the Philippines, just make sure that it's unlocked, right? And all you do once you land here, you put like a SIM card on it or an eSIM. That's a new thing, eSIM. Cost you about 50 pesos, $1 for the SIM. And then you spend about, for me, for Dazzle, at each of our phone, I spend about 300 pesos. I spend $5 on my cell phone because most people here text. It's not common for people here to make a call. You know, usually when I call people on my phone, I use the Wi-Fi. If I'm in Calibo or something, I'll use the Wi-Fi, so I'm not using my data. Most people, very common just to text. Texting is a thing here in the Philippines. Netflix, you know, for entertainment. Dazzle and I, our main entertainment for our house. We don't have cable TV, we just have internet. So our internet for 100 Mbps with Calibo cable, we pay about $24 a month. And then our Netflix, we pay Netflix, multiple users on Netflix is 449 pesos, $7 a month. And then our NBA League Pass, because we like watching the NBA, is 499 pesos a month, $8. So if you total it, our whole entertainment package, we spend about $40 for our whole, and we got NBA TV, we got Netflix, and the internet. That's $40. That's why we're able to save. You know, it's like I remember when I was in the U.S. Man, you're lucky if you have like a $50 cell phone bill, right? Sometimes over $100 cell phone bill. You're lucky if you have like a $80 cable bill. You know, an NBA League Pass package in the U.S. It's in the hundreds of dollars in the U.S. You know. So those are some of the ways that we're you know, you're wondering how can they afford it in the Philippines? You know, how can you know all these people, how are they, you know, living on Social Security, $1,700 a month on Social Security? Phil, and okay, I have newer Nissan Titan and a new Honda SUV. My favorite is my Bronco. Those are nice, man. Those older Broncos, those are nice. Oh, there it is. JP Calibo. Hello, Master Sergeant. They were looking for you earlier. JP, there he is. The man, the myth, the legend. JP Calibo. Let me go back here. It jumped some of the comments. I don't want to like miss anybody here. Niels, I remember that comment. Exactly. Vehicle insurance. All right. Thank you. Help. Hey, Jason, I will sell you my 2012 F-150. Ooh, that's nice, man. I wouldn't mind having a F1. I like F-150s, man. I hear you, but not having a vehicle and getting place for 9,000 pesos or less per month, it'll be well on my way to living on. Oh yeah, people can live inexpensive here, you know, and it's not. Don't believe people when they say, "Oh, you're just surviving in the Philippines." You know, it's like it just depends on your lifestyle and your standards. What kind of standard that you're willing to live here. To RG. All right. Okay. I think I got everybody's comments there. Hey, Pinay Heart. All right, Pinay Heart from Oceanside, California. Thank you, Pinay Heart. Okay, now I'm gonna cover the things that will cost you more here in the Philippines. Now, not everything is cheaper in the Philippines. You know, I don't want to that make you think that everything's so cheap here. Gas prices here in the Philippines right now is at like I'm comparing like California prices. So if you live outside of California, you are paying less. You are paying less for your gas in the United States. Electricity here in the Philippines always going to be more expensive than electricity in the United States. That's why here, very common for expats even that I know here, they only use their AC when needed. You know how it is in the US, you know, you live in your house, you got your thermostat, you're constantly cool in your house, right? Here in the Philippines, like now, you know, it's getting pretty warm down here because I don't have AC down here. I just got an electric fan because I'm frugal, you know. I could easily put an AC here, but that's gonna jack my my electric bill. I like to keep our electric bill at around 4,000 pesos is what we pay every month. $65 is what we pay. We have one inverter type 0.5 horsepower window type AC in our bedroom, and then we built like a what would you call it? Like a fan that go. So the cool air in our room goes to Mom and Leanna's room also, so we can cool. The rooms are so tiny. Both rooms are so tiny, so we're getting cool air in the room. But we only run our AC during the nighttime when we sleep. That's the main thing here. It's like it's hard to sleep here sometimes, especially during the summer. Now we're hitting habagat season now pretty soon here. During the rainy season, we don't even use AC because you can just open your windows here. We got screen on our windows so no mosquitoes, bugs will come in. And it's pretty comfortable. It's like nice and cool during the rainy season here. And then you hear the rain hitting the metal roof. And I sleep good during the rainy season here. Pinahar, Jason Potter. Hi, Jason. I hit 4,400 pesos last month. See, JP right there. Ours hit like 5,000. It hasn't happened. JP, my last two electric bill has been over 5,000 pesos. That's never happened. That back to back. And I think it's because the higher electricity rates right now. And we're suffering right now from random power outages. This time of the year, for some reason, where there's a low supply of electricity in Visayas region, our region here in the Philippines. There's rotational brownouts happening in our province of Aklan. I would say the last 3 or 4 days we've had a power outage every day. Hey, it's just part of life here. It's one of the things that you'll have to adjust. Power outages happen. It doesn't matter where you live in the Philippines. Maybe invest in solar. People always tell me invest in solar, but me, I'm able to manage. I'm Filipino. My family here is Filipino. We know how to. I grew up with power outages back in the 70s. They have power outages in Manila also. It's nothing new to me. Exchange rate. I think it was a little down. It was a little down exchange rate. I looked at it earlier, man. It was a 61.05. That went down a little bit. It had hit like the all-time high again, 61.80, but 61 is still a great exchange rate. It's like, and that's part of my explanation here too. Part of my current cost of living. So electricity is always going to be higher here in the Philippines. That's why a lot of people don't run their air conditioning. If you run your air conditioning here all day, and I know some expats do that, yes, your bill's going to be over $200 here even, because if you're running a lot of AC in your house all the time. Imported goods are always going to be higher here because of the import tax. Even at SNR, the Filipino Costco, many products in there at SNR, it's going to be more than what you pay in America. Cereal, simple things like when I go to SNR, because I remember the prices in America back then. I don't know now because I know it's gotten expensive here in America also. But for the most part, you're going to pay more. That's why. If you don't adjust to like the Filipino lifestyle, shopping at Filipino grocery, shopping at the public market for produce and fruits. If you're shopping at SNR, you're going to be spending money. And I know some people that do that. I know some people that live in Iloilo City, they live close to SNR, and they do their shopping at SNR. Your bill is going to be almost the same as in the US, or sometimes even more, because again, you're paying import tax. All those items that they sell at SNR, your Hormel chili, your whatever they sell, American products, Chef Boyardee, or Marie Callender's frozen pizzas, all that stuff, you're paying like 18-19% import tax from the United States. There are products in the United States being sold there. But they do have bargains at SNR. They do the same promotions, like how in the US at Costco they might run out 2 for 1. It's like you got to check the expiration date though. One thing I'm going to tell you about buying stuff at SNR: always check the expiration date, because here they will sell you products at SNR within like 1 month of expiration. So you're buying a gigantic Parmesan cheese, and then it expires in 1 month. So you gotta watch it. You gotta check that. You gotta check that. You gotta make sure you check the expiration date on items at SNR, because it's gotta be shipped from America, all the way here to the Philippines. Transit might take a long time on a boat, on a shipping container. So by the time it gets to the shelves here, always check your expiration date on products that you buy at SNR. Another thing that will cost you here, for tourist visa, for people coming here on a tourist visa, that you won't have expense in the U.S., that would be an expense that you will shoulder here. And it averages out to about $50 a month. If you average for the whole year, you might spend $600 on a tourist visa. And many people here just stay on a tourist visa. You do not need to do the SRV, to put that deposit in the bank, processing, apostille your document, pay the like the company, that JRC or whatever company that does the SRV. A lot of people here don't do the SRV, the retirement visa. A lot of people here just stay on tourist visa, and that's an expense that you'll have to pay. About $50 a month is the average that you'll pay. What about it? Well, Flyboy always just asks me about the exchange rate. He says, it's like I keep track. And speaking of exchange rate, that's another thing where if you're a dollar earner, if you're an American here in the Philippines, you're moving here, the dollar is, the strong dollar to peso exchange rate, it's such a big difference, man. It's like when I came here in 2011, the Philippine peso exchange rate to $1 was at like 39. It is now like at 61. And let me show you real quick, why does, everybody makes a big deal about the exchange rate. How come expats are so happy? Let me just show you an example. This past December, the exchange rate here in the Philippines was 58, right? Now it's 61. That's only like a 3 peso increase in exchange. You're going like, what's the big deal? It's 3 pesos. What's 3 pesos? But for every $1,000 that you have, like a pension, if you have a $1,000 pension, $2,000, for every $1,000, that 3 pesos, that jumped 3 pesos from 58 to 61, that means $50 in your pocket extra from just December when it was 58. Now, I'm not going to say that the dollar is going to remain strong forever, that it's going to continue to like skyrocket here in the Philippines. Who knows, right? It could go the other way. It could go start dropping. Who knows? But right now, the way the dollar, I've seen it now for, I would say, since the pandemic, it has been like rocketing. It's been like during the pandemic, I might get 50, 52. Now we're at 61. So if like I said, for every $1,000 that you have from December, now your $1,000, you just added $50 in your pocket. And if it's $2,000, you just added $100 into your pocket. And $100 here in the Philippines, 6,100. That is a lot of groceries here. That buys a lot of groceries here. JP can tell you this. If he goes to the market at SM Cherry, he can't spend 6,000 on grocery at the SM Cherry. He's gonna be like, man, that's too much grocery. Dazzle and I just went to SM Cherry yesterday. We bought ribs. We bought what else? Stuff in the house. Like napkin. Paper towels, we just a bunch of groceries, a cartload of groceries yesterday, and we spent 4,500 yesterday. Gonna last us a couple, more than a week, at least maybe even 2 weeks on 4,500 words or the grocery. Those are the kind of ways that we're able to save here. I know people say all the time, and I've mentioned this, inflation is hitting everywhere, right? Inflation happens everywhere in the world. Same thing in the Philippines. There's inflation here, but I think because of the dollar being so strong, it keeps going up. It kind of like putting inflation. If you're a dollar earner, if you're like pension is in dollars, you're doing well. You're doing well in the Philippines. Now for the Filipinos, they're the ones that are seeing like the increase, the lower Filipino exchange rate. That's hurting. I'm sure that's hurting the Filipinos. All right, I'm at the 2 hour mark right here. I'm gonna end the live stream right here. I'll try to come up with a topic. If you have a topic for me to discuss, just send me a message or comment. But I'll try to think of a topic, and I'll again, I'm not gonna do the live streams like I used to do every other day. I think twice a week is good. And I'll start scheduling it. Like I know Derek, he likes me to schedule my live stream. So I'll try to continue it like at 8 a.m. in the morning. But I'll schedule it, and I'll always like do the topics now instead, because a lot of the news items, you guys see the news anyway. This news that's happening in the Philippines. People had told me they prefer me talking about a topic here. So I'll try to think of another topic, do my research, get my information, and I'll schedule it. I'll put a schedule and when I'll discuss the topic. But thank you so much. Thank you so much, everyone, for your time. I appreciate the support this morning on the live stream. Hopefully you're having fun. Hopefully I'm sharing good information. That's all I really want to try to do. I want to be as honest. It's like I said, the Philippines is not for everyone. It's like not easy to move to the Philippines. Don't be tricked by some of the vloggers that it's all paradise here in the Philippines. I don't think it's all paradise here. It's all perfect here. The Philippines got a lot of warts. There's a lot of things here that you're gonna have to adjust if you plan on moving here to the Philippines. But I think for especially I keep harping on this, for the people that are on Social Security alone in the United States, average Social Security $1,700. It's hard to live on that in the U.S. Man, you can have a good life with $1,700 here. Let me just do the math real quick here. How much that $1,700 is a month here times 61. That's 103,000 pesos, man. It's just hard to find people here that make that kind of money. It's like in Calibo, you will not meet people making over 100,000 pesos. Even people that work in the banks, man, that's a lot of money here in the Philippines. Maybe in BGC, maybe Fortune banker. I know he makes a good money being a banker. ER doc is what those people make a lot of money here in the Philippines. But in Calibo, man, it'd be hard for me to find anybody making 100,000 pesos here. All right, I'm gonna end the live stream right here. Thank you again, everyone, for joining the live stream. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are, and everyone.